And welcome to Senior Moments. I'm Jackie Sibley Newton, your host. This is a broadcast service of Cleveland Community College on C19 on Spectrum Cable, but you can also view it on c19.tv, and we hope that you do share that link with family and friends who maybe can't watch the show locally. Today my guest is Ruth Huffstetler with Helping Hands Nursing Referral Service. Did I get it all out right?
You got it all out.
All right.
Thank you.
And your business is a very unique business. For the
Yes, it
whole
is.
state of North Carolina, it's a very
is.
unique business.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me a little bit about how the business was started, because I know you kind of inherited the business or bought it from
Right,
a
from
family
family.
member. Yeah.
It was started out of the need of knowing sitters were needed at the hospital. And the only phone number that was answered locally was a funeral home that answered the phone 24 hours a day. And so they would just send people to the hospital to be sitters. Found out that those people really were not qualified. And so a lady by the name of Kay Holzhauser started Helping Hands Nursing Service and started vetting people to send them out to be sitters.
So they started out of a funeral home just
Yes.
because somebody would answer the phone.
Correct.
So we needed somebody to just answer the phone. And they don't have to be CNAs, they don't have to be nurses. We're just looking for basically companions to
Sometimes.
sit.
Correct.
So what kind of services are offered?
We offer everything from just sitter services, where it may be that a loved one that lives in the home has to go out to work and somebody needs to be there to prepare a meal, make sure that the meds are taken, make sure that they don't leave the house. And then we do care when somebody's totally bedfast and has to have a CNA and has to have more skilled care to take care of that patient.
Okay. So a lot of different levels
Yes, ma'am.
of care. And it just really based on what they need.
Right. Whatever the family asks for, then we're going to tell them about the person that we feel is the best candidate, and then it's basically their choice whether to accept or deny that person. And that's why we're a referral service. We're going to refer who we feel fits the mold the best.
Okay. And you've already vetted these people. They've already been background checked,
Correct.
drug tested.
Not drug tested, they are criminal background checked and reference checked.
Okay.
And then the family can request anything that they want past
Right.
that, but that's the vetting that we do.
And then their agreement with because the person who goes out is actually an independent contracted
Right,
person.
and they are getting their paycheck from the family, not from us.
Okay.
So none of them are our employees. They get their paycheck from the family. We quote a dollar amount to the family based on what the caregivers agree to take. And then from there, if the family wants to pay more, they can. If they want to ask the caregiver to take less money, they can. That's all between them and the caregiver.
Now, I know one of the great benefits over saying, well, my neighbor said they'd come over and watch grandma for a while, is sometimes that neighbor's not always available.
Correct. And we are available from 4 hours up to 24 hours a day. And if our caregiver calls in sick, they're calling in sick to us, and we will make sure someone goes in their place. So you can still go to your job, and grandma won't be left alone.
So you're going to always have somebody as a backup. Benefits over having the next door neighbor say, I'll come
Right.
over and watch them for a while.
Right.
Because if that neighbor has somebody, they have a sick child, well, now they can't come.
Correct.
So now you have an issue.
Right. And if an emergency were to happen, that neighbor's going to leave and go handle their emergency, where we're going to get the phone call and we're going to handle it.
Yeah. So a lot of benefits to having that referral. There's
Right.
a lot of more backup, a lot more people
Correct.
backing that up.
Yes.
And somebody kind of watching. So having that extra set of hands, I know that would give me comfort as a family member of I don't have to vet these people. I don't have
Right.
to do that part of the process. And these people have done this before.
And-
I'm not just calling somebody
Right.
off the street who maybe has never done this before.
Right, and that's how we go through when they tell us about the patient. If it's an Alzheimer patient and they don't like redheads, per se,
And
it has
it's happened.
It
Yeah.
has happened. Don't send a redhead because her ex-daughter-in-law was a redhead and she'll kick her out of the house.
Yeah.
I mean, they can tell us these things and then we can use that information to try and get them the right
Yeah.
person. And in the same respect, if we blow it and don't get the right person, all they have to do is call us back and we'll try again.
Yeah.
We're going to give it our best shot, but it may just be a conflict of interest, not conflict of interest, but personality
Personalities,
conflict.
right.
Right. So
Yeah. And
we can take care
sometimes
of that.
they just, yeah, they may not like that particular person for some reason,
That's
but
right.
another person might do it better.
Right.
And you have men and women.
We do.
So if they prefer a male caregiver, they can specify that. They're
That's
not
right.
all female.
That's exactly right. And it's really nice a lot of times when they need a friend. And that's the biggest thing that the patient actually needs is just a friend. And once they get that comfort level, they can go places, they can play games together, they can watch a baseball game together and, pull for the same team, talk about the different players. There's a lot of emotional gratification that comes from it.
Yeah. And loneliness, we learned through COVID,
Yes.
loneliness is more detrimental than a virus in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you said that because that's my biggest belief that we benefit families with is somebody who can not be just the daughter and having to run in and prepare a meal and run back out and do their family. We can truly become a friend and learn the stories that that patient might want to tell, but the daughter's heard it 15 times or 1,500 times.
Yeah.
So I think the emotional benefit is just huge.
And giving that daughter an opportunity to just be the daughter.
Be the daughter. Love
Just-
on mama, not
yeah.
just have
Not
to
just
take
be
care
the
of her.
caregiver, but
Right.
have that time with her family and not necessarily be the caregiver all the time. She needs
Absolutely.
that break to just be the daughter.
Absolutely.
Just be your daughter, your son, your family member.
Right.
There's so much I see the caregivers get burnt out and tired because they're trying to do everything themselves. They don't have that support. So having that support is amazing.
And statistics show the caregiver is the one that goes down the fastest.
Oh yeah.
Because
We
they're
see it
trying
all
to
the
do
time.
everything for mama, daddy, their own personal family, their children, their grandchildren, and it wears them out mentally and physically.
Oh, and emotionally, I mean, it just wipes you clean.
Absolutely.
And we see it all the time and help families through that and
Right.
explain to them. And I've said it on the show 100 times, you can't fill a cup if your cup's empty.
Right.
You can't fill from an empty cup. You
That's
have to make
right.
sure that you're taking care of you. And even if it's just for a few hours a day,
Right.
then you're getting that break.
Even if it's just a bubble bath, just go take care of you for 15 minutes and
Yeah.
take a bath. Something.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be elders.
No.
You've helped new mothers.
New mothers with babies because
Yeah.
they've got toddlers that they're taking care of. We've done the elderly. We've done middle-aged taking people for colonoscopies just because they can't drive themselves afterwards, so we take them and then bring them back home. We can be there all night with them if they need us the night before or the night after. A 2-day visit is fine. A 2-year visit is fine. Whatever they need is what we're going to do.
Is there a minimum time? Like, you said
Just a minimum of 4 hours. That's the only minimum, but it can be one day, it can be every
Okay.
day.
So they can just contract you for one day.
Absolutely.
That's excellent.
Yeah, and a lot of people who are middle-aged need that, whether it's to go to a doctor's appointment or just, I need somebody to drive me because I broke my foot and I can do everything for myself but drive because it's my right foot.
Right.
And they'd rather have somebody that they know they can book to take them to the grocery store and they'd have got 4
Yeah.
hours instead of a taxi service.
Exactly.
They can do anything they want during those
Yeah.
hours.
I've got you for my 4 hours. We can
Yeah.
go get my medications. We can go to my doctor's appointments, go to therapy. I've had knee replacement surgery.
I can go
can't
get
drive.
a manicure
We need to
because
go
I'm
do the
used to
things.
having a manicure, and I can go get my hair done.
Yeah.
I just need you to drive me and sit there with me.
Yeah. So that brings up another good point is transportation. That's
Right.
something that your caregivers can do is
We can.
transport.
We can drive them in our own personal vehicles, and they will charge mileage, or they can drive the patient's vehicle, which is sometimes more comfortable.
Right.
High up, low down, those don't typically work. And of course, there's no additional charge at that point. They're just taking them anywhere they want to go.
That's excellent.
And we have taken people to VA appointments in Statesville and Asheville, and because they had no way to get there without us.
So transportation, light housekeeping.
Light housekeeping, meal preparation, meal preparation and pill reminders, all of that.
Okay. Now, there's also that higher level of care if they're incontinent.
Right.
And maybe needs help showering,
Right.
help bathing, dressing, the normal daily living activities. There is that higher level of care available as well.
Absolutely. And whether it's taking a shower or they need a bed bath, we can do that as well. So it's whatever level of care they need, that's what we're going to ask the questions about. We don't do an assessment, it's what the family tells us that they need. And whatever they want to happen is what we're going to do, as long as it's safe for everybody involved.
Excellent. Now, with Helping Hands, I know that I said it was a very unique business. It's only one in the state like it.
Right.
So that is because the referral service
Right.
is something that has gone away in the state of North Carolina, but you already had a license for it.
Right.
So you're allowed to still offer this service.
This is our 50th year in business, and because of the referral service, at this time it's $15 an hour for us to come out and visit, because you are paying that caregiver directly, where any agency that is having to employ those caregivers, they have a lot more expenses with the liability insurance and state insurance, FICA,
Right.
everything.
All of the taxes and
All
all
the
of the things
taxes.
that they have to do with
Correct.
it. Wow. Well, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back and learn more about Helping Hands Nursing Referral Service.
She gets her hair from her mom, her eyes from her dad, and her drugs from her home medicine cabinet. Fact: more people die from drug overdoses than from car crashes or gun violence. And over 50% of those deaths are from prescription drugs. Prescription drug abuse is preventable. 1. Secure and take regular inventory of our medications. 2. Dispose of unused or expired medications. 3. Share this message with others. Be aware, don't share, lock your meds.
The only prediction I'd make is I'd be pretty willing to bet I won't be doing it in 20 more years.
My question is, where's our residual checks?
144 have taken Republican ballots, and Wes and 2 others have taken Libertarian ballots.
Pravda, however, PBS, however.
Wes.
Wes.
Well, what-
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome back to Senior Moments. I'm Jackie Sibley Newton, your host, and my guest is Ruth Huffstetler with Helping Hands Nursing Referral Service. And we've talked a lot about the care that's available. Let's talk a little bit about the caregivers.
Okay.
How does one become a caregiver through the referral service?
Well, the easiest answer is walk through our front door and fill out an application, because again, we're going to talk about what kind of experience they have, what kind of hours they want to work, how many hours they want to work, and then we will match them up with a client accordingly and make sure we start them out slow and make sure we get them in the right setting.
Make sure that it's that right fit
Right,
for them.
correct.
And I love that they can fit to the hours that they're available.
They can.
If they're available for 4 hours a day, then you have that available.
Right.
If they're available 12 hours a day, you have that available. So if they only available on weekends, you have that available.
Absolutely.
So whatever it is that they're looking for, you can make that work
We
for
can
them.
work around it, and I am very, very proud. We have a lot of nurses that have worked for us while they were doing their CNA, going to nursing classes, and when they had classes in the daytime, they may work night shift or they may just work weekends. And I'm really, really proud when I get that graduation announcement and they go on to be an RN. I hate to lose them, but it's good for them too to see what their interests are, and
Right.
if they're interested in an Alzheimer patient or they like the broken hip and they want to go into more an orthopedic type setting. So it works out
Right.
well for everybody.
Yeah. And if they are caring for, helping with new mothers, then maybe they're going into pediatrics or
That's right.
something along that route, because they can work with that a little bit more. So they kind of get a little bit of hands-on, and they can even try different areas to see what might be more comfortable for them to work in.
Yep.
So it's a great place to get some practical work experience and pursue that career.
It is.
Now, you've had some caregivers with you for a long time too, which it speaks volumes, because
Well-
you're getting people with a lot of experience. They've seen a lot of things,
They have.
dealt with a lot of different
Yes.
situations. You've
They-
had some caregivers with you for,
Well, I have been the owner for 30 years as of this month, and I have caregivers that have been with me 34 years, and they like to tell me that they are my boss because they've been with Helping Hands longer than me.
you. Yeah.
And we have, at any given time, we have about 130 caregivers out there working.
Wow.
So we have a lot of great caregivers that we are very fortunate to have that longevity, and they typically are happy and they like the idea of the freedom of hours and scheduling, and it works with their children's schedules, and they stay with us.
Yeah.
We have, I would say, at least 30 or 40 that have been with me 20 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is unheard of.
It is.
And I know how fortunate I am to have them, but it's because they do a great job. I'm not always the
Yeah.
nicest, but they do a great job, so I get to be nice to them.
It's not that you're not nice. You have high expectations.
I have high expectations of
You
them.
do.
Yes.
And that's okay. And I know that you have high expectations because we have used you quite a bit at Terabella, because sometimes in assisted living, someone might need that extra assistance. They just might need somebody to sit with them for
Right.
comfort. Or maybe in dementia, they need someone, they're having some issues with a specific behavior, and having somebody sit with them is more beneficial in keeping them safe. So it's not always in a home. Sometimes somebody's sitting with them at the hospital. Sometimes they're
Assisted
in a
living.
assisted living.
Even nursing homes we've sat with, if they have a little bit of confusion going on, sometimes a diagnosis or medications will cause some extra confusion, and so we will sit with them in the nursing home just to kind of keep them grounded and remind them where they are.
Yeah. So anywhere that assistance is needed, it's
Right.
kind of like rent a son or daughter.
Right.
You're
That's a
gonna
great
have
way to put it.
Yeah, you're going to have somebody come and sit with mom or dad or grandma,
Right.
and that's that extra person to
Mm-hmm.
help give the family that peace of mind that you do have somebody there. You have some extra eyes and some extra hands if needed to help guide them through this, and they don't have to be the person that goes and spends the night at the
Right.
assisted living or spends the night at the hospital.
Right, because they want to be there typically during the day when the doctors are making rounds, and so they'll use us to be there all night so mom's not confused
Right.
or son's not
Or just
confused.
scared.
Or
Sometimes
just
it's just that they're
scared.
frightened.
Right,
and
right.
They just need somebody there.
Yeah, and it's just nice to have somebody that also is knowledgeable. They've done it before. They've been there. The staff is comfortable because they know the kind of person that's in there
Right.
is a hired person, and they can be trusted to give information.
Right. And also it gives, sometimes family is away. They don't live close by. And they
Correct.
need somebody now.
That's
Like,
right.
I can't get there right now. I'm 4 states away. I need somebody with mom now.
Right now.
So we need to get that person there, and it gives them that time to make all the arrangements and do everything they need to do so that they can get where they need to be.
And we do get phone calls from the hospital saying that, we've told the family somebody's got to be here and they can't get here.
Yeah.
So,
So if someone were interested in the services, we know you have a website.
yes.
And where's the building located? If they
We
wanna
are
walk
at
through the front door.
407 West Warren Street, downtown Shelby.
Mm-hmm.
And they can come to the office to talk to us. We can come to the home and talk to them, or come to the hospital to talk to them about services. They can also just make a phone call, and we can do everything over the phone to get the ball rolling for that family that is out of town and just needs to make sure that we get the ball rolling.
Okay, so a lot of ways to communicate
Yes.
and get the information. And you've already shared what the rates are.
Right?
So very affordable, extremely affordable for
Thank you.
the services that are available.
Right.
And if someone were interested in a position, they can walk through the door and apply in person.
Absolutely. We don't do applications online. They
Okay.
do have to come in the office and fill out an application in person.
Okay, well, they can usually get kind of pre-interviewed there as well, because you're
Absolutely,
going to
we
be
try
able
to-
to talk to them.
We try to grab them as they
At that
walk through the
moment.
door, because we have many, many phone calls. As we all know, a lot of diagnoses don't mean you're going to get to stay in the hospital.
Right.
And somebody might need to be with you at home. And so we get a lot of, we need help right now. And so we need as many caregivers as we can get, because we do have, not as bad as it has been, but we do have a small waiting list at all times.
Yeah.
Where you have to wait until we get somebody available.
Yeah, even with 150 some employees, you're always going to be needing.
Well, they're not my employees, but
Not
yes.
employees, that's right.
I can't
With
use that word.
nurses that you refer.
Right. With the girls and men
referrals.
that I'm referring, yes, sometimes we just are all out. They're all
Yeah,
booked.
they're all busy. Yeah. So if you're looking for a very flexible position in the
Yes.
healthcare industry, it's a great way to get your feet wet, see if it's what you want.
See if
You
you'd
do
enjoy
have
it.
to be 18, correct?
You do have to be 18 years old, and we will put you through the criminal background check and the reference checks, and we'll tell you all about anywhere that we would like to see if you'd be interested in, the hours, and you always have the right to say yes or no, because we're
It has to be a
we're
good
making
fit for
that
both
offer.
parties.
It does.
So
it
if
does.
the caregiver is not comfortable in the family, they can also say, I'm not comfortable here. This is not a
Absolutely.
good fit for me.
Absolutely. I mean, if a family has cats and dogs and you're allergic to cats and dogs, then it's not going to be a good fit, even if the people love them. It's not going to be a good fit. So we
Right.
try to match it up completely so that it'll be a long-lasting relationship. We want continuity for the family. They don't want 100 different people in their house. They want one person. They want to fall in love with them, and that person be there as long as they need them.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
what we aim to do.
And for that person that they're caring for, they need that comfort.
Absolutely.
They need the comfort of that same face every day
Right.
and being able
That
to
friend.
recognize that person. Exactly. Well, thank you so much for being on the show
Thank
today.
you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. We hope that you will share that link, c19.tv, with friends and family, or watch it on Spectrum TV. We appreciate you watching the show. If you need any more information, we've given you the website for Helping Hands, and also you can always contact me at Terabella in Shelby. Thank you, and we'll see you again next time on Senior Moments.